there is the possibility of taking some chips off the table to purchase something after a run up. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're trading it and trying to time the market. It just means that you've seen a price increase in your wealth and you're deciding to use that wealth for something in your life. A home, a car, whatever, right? These are depreciating goods. A home, people will say, is an asset and stuff, but the only reason it's an asset is because it's heavily subsidized and it has a store of value function that it doesn't deserve. And eventually people will understand that it is a depreciating asset and that it should only be valued at its utility, maybe a tiny premium on that, but not much. So these are the kinds of things that you're going to have to buy throughout life anyway. So it makes sense to do that when your purchasing power is higher. It doesn't make sense to do that when your purchasing power is lower. That is that is the wealth effect. When you feel wealthier, you're going to be able to purchase more things. So that's normal. But I think that what will happen likely is as you hold Bitcoin longer and longer, it will make you want to hold it longer and longer. So the amount of things that you feel like you'll need to buy to fulfill your life will become less and less, and you will actually realize what your wants are and what your needs are, and satisfy your needs, and maybe put off your wants, or indulge only the most fulfilling ones of them. I think the biggest overarching mistake that you can have, besides trying to time the bottom and tops and actually acquire more Bitcoin through that, is even paying attention to the US dollar price. The US dollar price does not matter. What matters is how many sats you have. Do you have more sats today than you had yesterday? You are increasing your wealth if you have more sats today. That is really what matters. And buying and selling and covered calls and treasury companies and all this other stuff that I do talk about on my channel all the time, all of that stuff is extra. All of that stuff is cute. All that stuff is actually unnecessary for true wealth creation and wealth building if you have a long enough time horizon. All these things are attempts at cheat codes in some way, or efficiencies within the system of buying Bitcoin and holding. So these things can work, but they cannot work because they also have a lot of additional risk and usually operational risk from the holder. And typically the holder does not know what they're doing. Again, this comes back to the buying and selling. And so a lot of that becomes additionally more risky because of lack of experience or knowledge. So most likely those things should be avoided. And for 90% of you, buying and holding and acquiring more sats today than you had yesterday is the ultimate strategy to build wealth. The US dollar price does not matter. It is what we use as a measuring stick. But even I talked about how in the future, Bitcoin's going to be worth 10 million, 100 million, whatever. What are those dollars worth at that point? Why are we even using that as the denominator? We need to flip those things around. We denominate our life in Bitcoin. How